Boom, let's do this. Let's see, we've got Bitcoin down 20% this week. Ethereum, nice recovery. Somebody's trying to buy the Constitution. Did I read that right? Oh, see, somebody's trying to buy a copy of the Constitution. So we'll get into that. We've got special guests I'm going to introduce you to in a few minutes. Let's see, we've got Hillary Clinton talking about Bitcoin. We've got to start out with this one. I don't know if you all saw this. I'm going to share my screen right away. Let's get into this. Okay, so let me see if I can get this to work here. Share screen, and we're gonna talk about Hillary on Bitcoin. All right, so let me see if I get this to work here. All right, so here we go.
And then one more area that I hope nation states start paying greater attention.
Let me stop that and do it again, because I really want you to see this. So sorry, folks. Yep, I did do it right. Okay, sorry about that. I'm going to share it again. All right.
And then one more area that I hope nation states start paying greater attention to is the rise of cryptocurrency, because what looks like a very interesting and somewhat exotic effort to literally mine new coins in order to trade with them has the potential for undermining currencies, for undermining the role of the dollar as the reserve currency, for destabilizing nations, perhaps starting with small ones, but going much larger. So when we think about this new environment in which we find ourselves that we've been discussing for the last...
All right, we'll stop that. So turn off the screen share here. In 2017, that we would be we'd be dealing with Hillary speaking about Bitcoin at conferences, and it's just really crazy what's going on here. And of course, it wouldn't be that time of the month if it wasn't for China banning Bitcoin yet again. So we need to basically change the 15th of the month to be China bans Bitcoin Day, and then 12 times a year we'll celebrate China. How about that? Okay, I mentioned somebody. So crypto investors raised $47 million to buy a copy of the Constitution, and they lost their bid. Wow. Okay. So somebody actually bid more than $47 million to buy a copy of the Constitution. Wow. And I guess my question is, what happens to all the money that people put into this DAO? So I'll figure that out. I don't know. I tried to figure it out last night and I couldn't figure it out. I hope the people get their money back, because now they've basically got a DAO that's holding nothing. That's interesting. Let's see. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin volatility. We're going to talk about Ethereum. We're going to talk about the Solana show in Lisbon. We're going to talk about crypto perks. We started the airdrop, CPRX, big doings in CPRX land. All right. So before we get into all of that, and let's see. IRS sees $3.5 billion in crypto-related fraud money this year as illicit activity multiplies. That seems like, nothing compared to, I don't know, white collar crime, drug money, but yet it's still what makes the headlines. It continues to blow and boggle the mind as to why people can just keep, it drives me nuts. Okay, more importantly, Crypto.com buys the naming rights to the Staples Center in Los Angeles for $700 million. Now, I know some folks that work at Crypto.com in Asia. I've never met a Crypto.com user in my life. Where they're getting this money to make all of these huge purchases, I have no idea, but I hope it works out for them. We won't be doing that. Thank you very much. Let's see, more craziness. Lots of crazy. I know maybe you sense I'm feeling a little cynical today, but there is a lot of crazy stuff going on. NVIDIA crypto mining chip sales fell off a cliff this quarter. I don't know if it's just because there's no chips to sell, or if people are afraid or if NVIDIA is just not capable of mining anymore. But that was not good news for NVIDIA. I was on Crypto Banter with Ron and Vinny Lingham this morning, and we were talking about Render. RNDR is the token symbol. Super interesting project. Basically, gonna enable a global network of 3D rendering for the metaverse. Really interesting stuff. Okay. We're going to get to an AMA later in the show. We're going to get to some more news. Maybe I'll be a little less cynical. But more importantly, for now, we've got a special guest. He is a friend of mine, and most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with XPRIZE, an organization he started, and a lot of his work around exponential technology and in founding the Singularity University. So I understand that Fortune recently named Peter as one of the world's 50 greatest leaders. And if you know Peter and all the things that he's involved in and what he does, it's definitely an award and honor that's well deserved. He is executive chairman of the XPRIZE Foundation, which leads the world in designing and operating large-scale incentive competitions. And we'll get into some examples of what those are. He started and co-founded the Singularity University, which is a graduate level Silicon Valley institution. I know many people that have gone through the program, and they counsel the world's leaders on exponentially growing technologies. And if you've watched Money Talks at all, you know that exponential growing tech is a passion of mine. And if you pay attention to what's happening in crypto at all, you know that we're living through one of the biggest exponential tech booms in history. So without further ado, welcome, Peter, to Money Talks.
Hey, Bill. Pleasure to be here, pal.
Cool. You're a little low, so I don't know if it's me or maybe it's my... Oh, no, you're good. You're good. It was me. Okay. So welcome. How's things?
Great. Just expanding to fill every microsecond of every day.
Yeah.
You know, it's there's more opportunities than ever before, right? And this is what I talk about in an abundance mindset. It's like there's more capital every year than last year. There are more opportunities every year than last year. So don't look in the rearview mirror. It's just get ready for, sort of a tsunami of increasing capabilities.
Yeah. Tell us a couple of minutes, like, what was your journey? How did you get here? How did you get to this place where you're known as the guy who basically knows all things exponential tech?
So my earliest passions in life and where I focused sort of the first 20 years of my career was in the space industry.
Okay.
But the commercial space industry, I wanted to be an astronaut. Apollo and Star Trek sort of like lit my fuse. And then I started a bunch of companies, a launch company, a satellite company, Zero G, do weightless parabolic flights, the XPRIZE, whose first XPRIZE was for private space flight. And that was great. And, I'm super pumped that Elon and Bezos are taking on that mantle, and they're doing an awesome job on it. Then I got a chance to meet Ray Kurzweil, who's really considered one of the most extraordinary predictors of the future. And, I think Ray mentored me, and we started Singularity University together. The XPRIZE went from just focusing on space to like, what are the world's biggest problems and why, which of these problems are not being solved by government or corporations, and how do we create large scale incentive competitions to solve them? And so XPRIZE went from a $10 million prize. We've now launched like $300 million of XPRIZes, and really a notion that the world's biggest problems are the world's biggest business opportunities. And so I've started some 25 or 26 companies around areas. And my focus right now has been really on age reversal, human longevity. How do we add 20, 30, 40 more healthy years on your life? Because I think that is something that is doable. And so it's all of these areas. I'm just, I think of myself as a 9-year-old kid driven by my passions and having fun.
So it's interesting. I always talk about age reversal tech as an example of why inflation is not as acute for many people historically as it should be. In other words, for a lot of people, for everyone, the dollar loses every 90 years or so, about 90% of its value. And this is a cycle that's happened, twice, even before the current Federal Reserve System. And the only reason there's no riots in the streets is most people are dead by the time it matters. And so the question becomes, what happens if everybody's living to 130, 140, and the value of the wealth they've acquired over time goes to shit because the dollar that it's based on is going to shit. So it's curious. I'm curious to know, like, when do you think that's going to happen? When do you think that people will actually live to 130 so that we can all plan our wealth planning on a new time scale?
Listen, it's one of the biggest issues. So, I was just on the stage with all the Goldman Sachs partners, briefing them about these exponential tech. And then I was with the Morgan Stanley Wealth Advisors. And I'm on, talking about the future of these technologies. And I'm like, you guys are doing a disservice to your clients if if their planning is like, okay, I'm going to live till 85.
No.
It's like, if those individuals are in their 50s or 60s, they can plan on an extra 10 years. But by the way, during those extra 10 years, guess what? Science is not standing still. Exponential tech is growing exponentially. And you're likely to intercept additional breakthroughs that might add another 10, 20 healthy years on your life. So is there a limit? This decade with CRISPR technologies, right? Won the Nobel Prize last year, two incredible women, Nobel Prize in chemistry for this editing technology, which, by the way, has gotten like 10-fold or 100-fold more powerful in just the last couple of years. And then there's gene therapy, the ability to go and insert whatever genes you want into whatever cells in the body you want. And then the whole world of stem cells and vaccines. So we're in the middle of a health and biotech revolution. And, when I think about, where I'm investing my money besides into Abra, appropriate plug, since I love the platform and appreciate you, pal, is into AI and biotech, health tech technology. And we do need to figure out how do we provide for economics. I mean, the last thing you want is to have your energy, your vitality, you look good, you feel good, you're thinking clearly, and then you're out of capital. By the way, one cool thing, while we're on the subject, there's a study done about 3 months ago by London School of Business, Harvard, and Oxford. And it said, for every additional healthy year that you add globally to life expectancy, it's worth $38 trillion to the global economy.
Wow. Wow. So hopefully that $38 trillion goes just as far when we're all 150 as it does when we're all 50.
Well, I think you don't want to retire if you've got the energy.
Right? I don't want to retire anyway, whether it's 60 or 160, right? I mean, what does it even mean to retire?
Yeah, listen, for the guys, it's mostly true for guys, but for the gals as well, you could take a look at it. But Google the correlation between retirement and death. It's very highly correlated.
Scary. I mean, but everybody has an anecdotal story about that. I know so-and-so retired, they were dead 3 years later, or I know so-and-so stopped working and they were dead 3 years later, or, and I think there's obviously a causation reason for that.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. So let's talk about other examples of exponential tech. So what's the latest with the X Prize? What are the moonshots that are, really getting your attention right now?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot. And I think of X Prize as sort of the innovation engine that challenges entrepreneurs around the world to solve the world's biggest problems, because they can. I have more faith in entrepreneurs than governments in solving problems. So what are we tackling? Last April, I convinced Elon to put up $100 million for a gigaton carbon removal prize.
Okay.
And, I asked him and he convinced himself. I don't want to take any credit away from him. It was like, his comment when we were texting back and forth was, let's do it. And that was great. And so we've got more teams.
I need a let's do it text from Elon. I don't have one of those. So.
I'll sell it as an NFT.
There you go. Exactly.
Maybe I should, and then I'll rate. No, never mind. Okay, so So we've got more teams registered for that gigaton carbon removal X Prize than any other competition we've ever had.
Yeah.
Right. We have an X Prize going for feeding the next billion, which is funded out of Abu Dhabi
Okay.
and Tony Robbins. This is for, cellular agriculture. Can you go from a stem cell to, large scale production of fish and, in this case, chicken?
Mhm.
We have X Prizes for Avatar X Prize. Can you build a robotic avatar where you can project your sensorium and feel like you're at a distance, and the person you're talking to there feels like you're there? I'm working on an age reversal X Prize right now.
Okay.
I've got about 80 out of the $125 million raised.
Wow.
And this is an X Prize that's going to challenge teams to reverse the age of a human by 25%. So it's 20 years. Can you?
How do you measure that? Do you have to wait like 40 years to get your prize?
That's
Or is it like some telomere effect thing, or what is it?
So I'm working with some of the top scientists on the planet, George Church and David Sinclair and a multitude of others on this. And we're going to be measuring it by a multitude of things. First of all, there are a bunch of aging clocks. Telomeres is a small part of the equation, but also what we call the omics, the proteomics, what genes are turned on, what genes are turned off. And we have to do it in 3 different organ systems, as well as tissue functionality, organ functionality, frailty of the individual. It's making it, unless you can actually and accurately measure it, you can't impact it. So that's an important part of the prize. But the science is now pointing at the idea that we can not only slow and stop aging, but potentially even reverse aging by impacting your epigenetics. And we can spend an entire show just talking about that, which we should.
No doubt. Yeah, we'll do another one. And so when you think about exponential tech in general, you've mentioned aging, right? And we should obviously segue to crypto at some point. But are there 2 or 3 other kind of fields of exponential tech that are the most exciting to you right now?
Yeah, let me rattle them off. So first of all, we're seeing massive increases in computation. And the whole realm of quantum computers are coming online. Something that was in theory, was in practice, and then the error rates were so high, they're not functional. We've seen one quantum computing company go public. A couple of others are about to go public. We're seeing some of the largest companies on the planet investing heavily in quantum computing. There's a there, right? And so we're going to see quantum computing impacting.
Yep.
The first area is like quantum chemistry. Like, can you predict what's going on at a molecular level in a way that can give you new material sciences, new, antibody antigen connections, new medicines? I think is going to be an important area. Then there's the whole world of sensors and networks. On the sensor side, we're going to be seeing embedded sensors every place, all the time, everywhere, measuring everything, heading into a world where, frankly, you can know anything you want. So it's going to become the questions you ask that's more important than what you know, right? When there are millions of drones imaging the world at centimeter, thousands of satellites at, sub-meter. And then on the network side, 5G is exploding on the planet's surface, about to give way to 6G, which is like 100 times faster than 5G. And then Starlink, kudos to Elon and Gwen Shotwell at SpaceX. I mean, a couple of thousand satellites on their way to 40,000 satellites. And then you've got Bezos and Blue Origin and Verizon about to do that. So we're going to have layers and layers of satellites if orbital debris doesn't stop them all. 3D printing.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite companies is a company called Relativity Space that my venture fund, Bold Capital, is an investor in. And Relativity Space is 3D printing entire rockets.
Wow.
So it is a wow, right? So they've built the Stargate printer, which can print, from the bottom up, 105-foot tall Terran 1 rocket, which is supposed to go up in Q1 of 22. And then they're building the Terran R, which is a fully reusable version, like a Falcon 9. So, and this is about dematerializing, demonetizing, and democratizing the production of large scale, objects. So when you're not printing a rocket, you can 3D print a jet engine or an airplane wing.
Yeah.
And then there's 3D printing for 3-story tall buildings, and there's 3D printing at a microscopic level, sort of fantastic voyage, like little robots that go into your bloodstream. From 3D printing into robotics, and robots have been a minefield of failed companies, but
Right.
they're now converging because of machine learning capabilities. So a lot going on in robotics, AR and VR. Obviously, the whole Web 3.0 is exploding, and for me, sort of the convergence of AI, blockchain, and VR is going to change where we spend our time, the global economy of it all, reinventing. I'm clear that this decade we're going to reinvent every single industry on the planet. There's a massive disruption coming in healthcare and education, finance, insurance.
Is there anything? I mean, one of the things that I love about being around you is your energy, is your optimism. I remember even from earlier TEDs when you'd have debates about people who were pessimistic, and you were always the optimist, and I always appreciate that, because I have this kind of sense that optimists in general are going to live longer, regardless of age-defying technologies, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're pessimistic about right now, or is there anything that really worries you?
I mean, the stuff that concerns me is Hillary Clinton's clip that you showed earlier. The notion that governments are, by their nature, stabilizing forces that want to keep everything the way it is. And guess what?
That's nonsense. I mean,
there's no velocity switch on the rate of change.
Yeah.
And what's clear to me is that the speed of innovation isn't constant. It's accelerating.
Right.
There's more capital every year, more brains invested in innovation. The cost of compute or genome sequencing is dropping, faster than Moore's law in some cases. And so the amount of breakthroughs and transformation. So there's going to be this disruptive change as if AI takes over education, what are the teachers unions going to do?
Yeah.
As one example, we're going to see the collapse of the healthcare system, because the best healthcare on the planet is going to be driven by AI and sensors at 100th the cost.
Yep.
So a lot of change coming, and it's what's going to happen during that boundary effect of that disruptive change that concerns me.
Yeah. And how about crypto? Where does crypto fit in for you, and how do you think personally about it?
So crypto is a means for stabilization. For me, it's opposite of what we just heard from Hillary Clinton.
That's why I'm chuckling. Yeah, exactly.
It is the notion that it is, as the world is in turmoil, as people shift to a crypto-based, if you would, savings account, for lack of anything better, or stabilization. It's where we stabilize, because people revolt when they don't have food or don't have hope, and this is a means for both. I also am super excited about the whole realm of play to earn, where one of the things. Imagine if people can earn their living by helping, solve the world's biggest problems. One of the things I'm excited about is how do we create X Prize as a future DAO, right? Where if you're in the game, you're solving problems and you're making the world a better place and you're earning your living. I mean, those are the sorts of conversations that I'm excited about. I also think as we're living longer, the idea that having my wealth in a platform that I know is going to be around 100 years from now. So, I'm personally, I'm in like 80% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, and looking at other protocols and so forth. But I'm shifting my capital out of USD, because it's just the inflation rates. I mean, like, hello.
Yeah. Well, when you're 150.
McFly, it's like, You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. So
Now, by the way, were you when we did the three-way seminar? You were a classmate of Michael Saylor's, right?
yeah. So
At MIT.
listening,
Yeah.
Bill and Mike Saylor and I had a hour and a half long webinar a few months ago. So Mike Saylor and I were both in the same fraternity, basically roommates going through Aero Astro. And I've enjoyed watching Mike's arc of his career.
Yeah, he's amazing to listen to.
Yeah.
So lastly, before we wrap up, Abundance 360. So you've got an event coming up in the new year. Tell us about Abundance 360 and how do people get involved?
Thank you. So I, many years ago, started Singularity University with Ray Kurzweil, and it's been extraordinary. We have a lot of individuals, and I created the highest layer of Singularity, which is called Abundance 360. And it's a year-round executive program. We meet for 3 days in LA every year. This year, it's February 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And then we meet 5 times through the year for a implementation webinar with me. And it's a look at 4 mindsets. I help people see an abundance mindset where we're going to be talking about how food, water, healthcare, education, all these things are becoming more abundant, transforming the world. An exponential mindset of helping people understand how exponential technologies are converging and changing every industry. A longevity mindset and a moonshot mindset. Bill, thank you for coming to speak at A360 this year.
I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited for the rest of the conference, actually.
It's amazing. I spend the entire year curating these 3 days because my job is to change people's view of the world and what's possible. I remember in 2013, I gave everybody Bitcoin because I said, this is coming.
Really?
I gave everybody Bitcoin. I had a Bitcoin ATM. I gave everybody like $100 of Bitcoin, which I had people like.
Wait, what year was that?
I think 2013.
Oh my God.
And, on my Twitter stream, I have an image of me doing that. And then everybody started emailing me later saying, I lost it. Where can you give it back to me? It was like, no.
I'm pretty sure that would be 50,000 at least today.
Oh, it was
at least.
Anyway, it's crazy. But here's the deal. Anybody's interested, you just go to a360.com or abundance360.com. It's a very curated group of entrepreneurs and CEOs, about 360 in the room, and then we have some 3,000 in our Abundance Digital on the live stream.
Yep.
But it's, the challenge is we are linear thinkers in an exponential world.
Right.
And I've committed to running A360 for 25 years. And my job every year is to this is now possible. This is what happened in the last year. This is where the next 2 years are going. And to help people see how powerful we are to take on the world's biggest problems.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Yeah. What I want to do, maybe after the show in March, I've been trying to get Kathy Wood back on. And
Kathy's going to be speaking at A360.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that.
And Teller, the head of Moonshots for Google.
Yeah, I want to have a conversation with you and Kathy together because I think there's a commercialization. She represents, from the typical investor, how to think in exponential terms today. Right. I mean, she makes it very real because this is where we're putting our money and they're exponential bets. And most of you investor public are thinking linearly and we're thinking exponentially, which is why she keeps saying that Tesla's undervalued. And I love listening to you because I get a sense for, like you said, I'm bringing that 15 years in to make it closer with Moonshots and X Prize and just the convergence of those is just super exciting to me. One of the reasons
I can't stress enough that we're in not inflationary from a financial, inflationary from what every single individual can do with their lives.
Yeah.
It's like if you've got a massive transformative purpose, you have access to more capital, more compute, more, biotech capability than ever. What do you want to do? What big impact you want to make on the planet? Because you can. You just need to find the right community with which to have those conversations. And to inspire you and empower you.
Awesome. Hey, you're getting a lot of virtual applause on the live chat, just so you know, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. So thank you all very much. Peter, love listening to you, bud. Excited to see you.
I miss you, buddy.
Soon. Yeah. We'll see you soon. And thank you so much for coming on. And we're going to do this again.
Take care, buddy.
All right. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. All right. Thanks to Peter. That was awesome. So we're going to take a look at crypto markets coming up. We're going to do our weekly updates. I know a lot of you are asking about crypto perks. I'm seeing a lot of questions on the live stream. Thanks, by the way, for your virtual applause for Peter. He is definitely inspiring. I love listening to him talk. I've known him for years, and I'm thrilled that he's an advisor to Abra. He really helps me think things through and think big picture. Because, a lot of times we get lost in the weeds day to day when I'm really trying to help all of you. And, it's always good to have somebody who can really help us big picture. So, by the way, so let's get back to Abra for a second. If you love Abra, share it with your friends, your family, everyone you know. Now you can earn $25 for referring them, and they can earn $25 for opening an Abra account. Here's how it works. All right, so let's talk about Bitcoin. So I said a few weeks ago that I thought there was a really good chance that we'd see Bitcoin near 100,000 by the end of the year. Now, obviously, Bitcoin has gone the other way this week. We're down about 18%. I have a chart that I've shown you in the past. I'm not going to bring it up now. I've shown it so many times. But basically, we see these 15 to 20% drops time after time. I've explained the reason for it many times. But just to summarize really quickly, what happens in crypto, which is unique to crypto and Bitcoin in particular, because it's not only really liquid and it's got a huge market cap, it's open for trading 24 hours a day. And not only that, it's got what we call leveraged futures markets that are also open 24 hours a day. So what I mean by a leveraged futures market is not only can you bet on the price of Bitcoin going up or down, you can actually lever your bet, right? Which means that you can borrow up to 100x times your bet to increase and increase the gains that you can make, but also increase the losses. And so these so-called levered bets have a multiplying effect on the movement of Bitcoin. Now, that multiplying effect has actually decreased over time. And that's one of the reasons why I believe this volatility is getting actually lower for Bitcoin. Still think it's going to be pretty high for Ethereum. We'll come back to that in the market update. I actually think Ethereum is going to be leading the way for the next few months. But as it relates to Bitcoin, we get into these modes where basically the longs, the bulls, lever themselves, meaning they're borrowing crypto that they don't have to increase the magnitude of their bet. But what that means is that small moves down can have a cascading effect because they get liquidated, meaning their positions get closed, positions unwind, more Bitcoin gets sold, and you get these cascading effects. That leads to these 15 to 20% drops that we've had, even in large bull runs. And I believe that by and large, that's what's happening now. But at the same time, and we'll get into this more in the market update, I think that the supply shock is still real, meaning that there's a ton of Bitcoin that has been moving off of exchanges, and that in and of itself, is probably going to trump, pardon the pun, any effect of negative news. All right. So obviously, the other thing that concerns me a little bit is I don't like it when everybody expects the price to go up. Right. Plan B, Tone Vase. Research reports from Standard Chartered, CoinList CEO, all of these people, BitMEX CEO, have all been predicting 100,000 Bitcoin over the next couple of months. That's actually a little concerning to me, right? So anyway, unfortunately, I'm actually in their camp. I do expect a big run in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I still think 100,000 is in play. Bitcoin has no idea what a calendar is. It doesn't know what a month is. It doesn't know what a calendar is. It doesn't know what December, January, or February are. So it doesn't say, oh, I've got to get to 100,000 by the end of the year because people are going to need to sell to pay their taxes. It doesn't. Bitcoin is not sentient, right? It's just going to do. The network is going to do what it's going to do. I do think that the calendar matters because of psychological effects. But by and large, it's possible that, we get to 100,000 in March instead of December, right? So anyway, I still think we're in a bull cycle. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. You all are asking me so many questions right now on the live chat around Abra features, borrow, questions about the new rates that we just introduced. In case you didn't realize, there's big news on Abra Borrow this week. The Abra Borrow rates have just changed, giving your deposits more borrowing power. So here's how it works. The changes to our loan to value rates means that you can borrow a bigger percentage in dollars or stable coins against the crypto you hold. So in other words, you would need to put down less collateral to get a bigger loan, right? So before, you had a 0% interest rate for a 10% LTV. Now you have a 0% interest rate for a 15% LTV. Okay. And we've actually lowered the interest rates for 20 and 33% LTVs as well. So even for a 33% LTV, you can now get a loan for 6.75%. This is a really good deal. And of course, it doesn't get better than 0%. Right. So if you oh, by the way, and we've raised the maximum for borrowing in many states and countries to $500,000. And I know there's a few states like California where I am, where we have lending licenses pending. I think there's like 5 or 6 states. And I'm super excited to get those states turned on. And I'll be using Abra Borrow as soon as California is turned on. So those of you in states where Abra Borrow is live, it's now a fantastic deal. All right. So let's talk about CPRX. Big doings in CPRX land. So first of all, you've got to update your Abra app. If you haven't updated to the latest version, it should say, I think, version 110. When you go into the settings menu, you're not going to see your airdrop. All right. So when you update the Abra app, you'll be able to see in the Abra perks section of the app how many CPRX you've been dropped. So we're airdropping 150 million CPRX to existing Abra users. Now, this is a one-time opportunity for new and existing users to earn CPRX for using Abra Trade, Earn, and Borrow, right? As in kind of a launch promotion. Of course, we're going to have the rewards on an ongoing basis, right? So we developed this program called Abra Perks in partnership with the Crypto Banking Alliance, right? And it uses the Crypto Perks token, or CPRX. CPRX is now our rewards token. And you're going to see that other, I think, exchanges and apps are going to adopt CPRX as their token as well. All right. So to power the rewards program, this Crypto Banking Alliance gave a big grant of CPRX, the utility token, to Abra. And 100% of that is going to Abra users, just like you and me. All right. I don't get any special privileges with CPRX. I get CPRX for using Abra just like you do. CPRX is their utility token to promote cryptocurrency's safe adoption and its application on wealth management platforms, just like Abra. All right. So with CPRX now and Abra Perks, you can earn rewards for referring a friend or just for funding your Abra account. In fact, you're going to earn $25 for making a referral. Just log into the Abra app to get a personalized referral link. And you've seen the video before about how the referrals works. Okay. So when one of your friends uses the referral link to download and fund their accounts with $15 and hold the balance for at least a month, that's all we ask, right? Both you and your friend will get a $25 reward paid in CPRX. It's pretty cool. All right. Now, you're also going to get 2.5% cash back on every trade you make in the Abra app. And that cash back will be paid in CPRX as well. You'll receive bonus yield with Abra Earn, right? In other words, you're going to get a 5% APY bonus. Let's put that in context. Let's say you're making 3.15% on Bitcoin you're holding. Effectively, you're now earning over 8% interest, the same 3% paid in Bitcoin, and then another 5% on top. Right now, APY paid in CPRX is a fantastic deal. Negative loan interest. That means if you take a loan through Abra Borrow, you're going to get 5% APY paid back to you. In other words, we're going to pay you to take a loan. All right. And so to make it simple, basically everything an existing Abra user can do in the app is going to help you earn CPRX rewards. All right. So if you haven't downloaded Abra yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, but we can't make it any more exciting. All right. All right. So I'm going to do a more in-depth market analysis and give you my take where things are headed. I'm going to answer a whole bunch of your questions. And they're teeing up. The questions are teeing up. And don't forget, put your user ID before the question. And if I choose your question, we may have a prize for you. Okay. Before we get to the market update and questions, here's a little bit more on the Crypto Perks Rewards program. So let's hit it.
A massive 150 million token airdrop is coming. You love Abra for making crypto simple, safe, and intuitive. And now there's another reason to be blown away by Abra. Introducing the Abra Perks Rewards Program, powered by Crypto Perks, CPRX. CPRX is a unique utility token. The more active you are in your Abra account, the more free tokens you'll earn. Here's how your perks start piling up. Trade and get perks. Earn interest and get perks. Take out a loan and get perks. You'll even get $25 in perks for inviting friends and family who fund an account. It's that simple. The Abra Perks Rewards Program. It's all for you.
All right, cool video. Thanks, Team Abra, for that. So let's see. So a couple of things. I wanted to give you a quick market update here on what I'm seeing. And there's a couple of images I wanted to share with you as well. I just have to make sure I have those. And yeah, so let's start. Let me share my screen here and we'll get into, let me share screen and Safari and share. All right, so let's start with Bitcoin. We talked about Bitcoin before. I'm on the 4-hour here. I don't like that for the show, so I'm going to switch to 1 day. I'm going to close this. All right, so when in doubt, zoom out. All right, so here we are over here, July 20th, let's call it, was the lows. And we seem to be forming a new upward channel. See here, we hit 52,700 in early September. And then we had a pullback to 39,000. So that's a $13,000 pullback from a $52,000 price point. So that's about a 24-ish, I think. I just did the quick math in my head, percent pullback. Now we were at a high of 69, let's call it, and a low of 58. So that's 11K pullback sorry. The pullback was 55. I was going to say, I thought we pulled back further than that. So from 69, let's call it roughly 50, let's say 56. So that's a $13,000 pullback, which is, let's say roughly 18 to 20%. Okay. And given, that we were already moving sideways for a couple of weeks, if you remember, there was a couple of weeks of shows where we were moving sideways. I would have expected in a bull market, a slightly smaller pullback because we had a longer consolidation period. And that's what we seem to be getting. Are we done? Meaning, did we see the new kind of swing, higher low, which is what we want to see in a bull market? I think so, meaning I don't expect a low. I was expecting the low to be in the 53 to 52 range when the pullback started, and we knew it was going to come at some point. It still may happen, but I think that basically this is the unwinding of those levers that I talked about earlier that are going to propel us up and to the right. And I think, I'm just kind of eyeballing this right now, but I think right here, that has us at about, I'd say probably 96. If I'm reading this right, I could see us certainly in the mid 90s in late December, early January right now, if this trend continues. Now that's Bitcoin. I'm actually even more bullish on Ethereum. And look at this, Ethereum has recovered over 6% today. Basically, it's retraced the entire red candle from yesterday. And we still have, let's see, six and a half hours or a little over 6 hours left in the trading day. These candles end at 4 p.m. Pacific time, which is midnight GMT, which is the UTC time frame that they use for printing these candles. Anyway, so we've got about 6 hours left in the day, and we've almost completely retraced the red candle from yesterday, which we call it an engulfing candle. And when you have a green engulfing candle like this, it usually signals a short-term bottom was in, and it is extremely bullish from a technical trading perspective. Solana has an engulfing candle. Let's see. Here are we've and 2-day engulfing candle. So lots of bullish positions out here. I've been talking about wax. Let me show you what's going on there. Wax has been en fuego, on fire. Lows in June was about 7 cents, and it is now at 92 cents and change, or 92 cents, 91.8. It's definitely one of my biggest calls for the year. I hope you all, if you did get in, you took some profits. Again, I don't hold altcoins, and I also don't give investment advice, by the way. But if you're curious as to what I'm doing, I've gotten in and out of wax, and I'm happy to take the money there. And I'm a big supporter of the project, but you got to take some profits at some point. So Mana, Decentraland, look at this. I've talked about this before. Basically low of 37 cents and change in June. And now post Meta announcement from Facebook, it went from 78 cents to $4. Definitely one of the best performing crypto assets in the Abra app over the last few weeks, if not the best, for sure. So very bullish movements. And if you look here, it looks like we consolidated for barely a week, and we're heading towards what seems to be new highs. And the sentiment is super strong on Mana, Decentraland. Let's see what else is exciting right now. Let's see, what else am I looking at? I don't look at Doge very much. It's in a long-term consolidation pattern from the previous highs. Traditionally, this flag is pretty bullish. This flag is pretty bullish. We peaked here. We're consolidating off the highs. It's a 40% drop from the high still. But again, in traditional trading terms, this is pretty bullish. Now it's got to come out of this at some point as the volatility winds down. It's forming this wedge pattern. And usually that means you're going to get a big jump either up or down once it consolidates, which looks like it'll play itself out by the end of the year or sooner. And if Ethereum has a big breakout to the upside, I think this wedge pattern is going to break out to the upside as well. Again, I'm not holding Doge. I don't trade Doge, but for those of you who are interested in it, I think there's a big move coming in the next kind of month or so. So we might want to look out for that. Bottom line is I think we are, as I said last week, we're still consolidating off of a huge run up. And I think that this is going to play itself out with this pullback, which is going to ultimately look like a standard Bitcoin pullback during a secular bull run. And Ethereum at 4260. Those of you who bought the dip yesterday going down to 4,000, congratulations. I know many of you did. My reading of the tea leaves tells me you're about to be handsomely rewarded for your efforts. There's a chart that I wanted to show you, and of course, as soon as I wanted to show you, I couldn't find it. I will find it. It is it's pretty cool. It's a graphic that Raul Paul actually posted, and what it shows is a picture of a whole. Oh, let me go here. I know where it is. Here we go. I got you, folks. Here we go. Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Now this is cool. All right, I'm going to show you two charts. I'm going to switch. Mr. Wizard, I'm going to turn off screen share, and I'm going to share a different screen right now. We're going to go here to preview. And yeah, okay. So hopefully, I apologize. The white and blue lines might be a little thin on the screen share. Hopefully they're legible. What you're looking at is the current run in Ethereum versus the Bitcoin run from June during a similar stretch of time back in 2017. And what this chart doesn't show is it doesn't show this recent dip because the chart's a few days old, but when you overlay the movement that we've seen in Ethereum for the last few months, June and July, August, September, October, November. Sorry, I have to count on my hand still. The last 5 months, it is scary how accurate this 2017 chart from Bitcoin is predicting the price movement of Ethereum. It even predicted almost to the day the recent dip in the price of Ethereum. Now, if this chart holds, and it is not an oracle, okay, it is just information. I am not telling you what to do, but if you look at this chart, what it basically tells us is we could easily see $15,000 Ethereum by the end of the year. Now you say, well, wait a minute, Bill. Ethereum is currently trading at $4,200. How in the world is it going to get to $15,000 by the end of the year? Well, my response is we've been to this dance before. Bitcoin has had these melt-ups. This is exactly what happened in 2017. Of course, then there was a massive retracement in a kind of a crypto winter after that. But I do genuinely think we're going to see a significant run-up in Ethereum in the coming weeks for many reasons. And one of them is the network effects, that Ethereum is currently experiencing, which we've seen before with Bitcoin. All right, so enough of that. I promised you I would get to some questions. I'm going to turn off screen share here. A lot of questions being teed up. I'm going to try to get to some on the markets, some on CPRX. AMTY1FG asks, what's better, Ethereum or Solana? Right now, I hold mostly Ethereum and Bitcoin. I do own a little bit of Solana. We don't list it yet on Abra, which is annoying to me, and I'm hoping that we can soon. It's not up to me, believe it or not, but I think we will be able to soon. But I'm bullish on both. I just hold less Solana because it's way more volatile. All right. It's hard. Reggie's comments, SS2 EF6N. It's hard for me to be bullish on Ethereum when I pay $200 for a $30 transaction. So Reggie, that is a very fair point. It's the nature of decentralized tech right now and the way the blockchain works. Idea being that the migration to both layer 2 as well as proof of stake should ease the burden. We'll see. All Out Athletics, WQ3VJ4R asks, what do I think about the latest upgrade of Bitcoin and the potential to make it more flexible, scalable, and secure for other use cases? Will this drive even more adoption faster? That is a fantastic question. The Taproot upgrade, I talked about it last week. You can go watch the video. It's very technical. It does enable more flexible multi-signature systems, which is a form of smart contracts. It's not as flexible as the smart contracts, for example, of Ethereum or Solana, but it does enable more flexible types of smart contracts for Bitcoin. It actually is more space efficient. It upgrades the signature scheme via Taproot and some other things that are very impressive technology breakthroughs. Bitcoin is by design meant to upgrade very slowly, right? It's meant to be stable. It's meant to be digital gold. It's meant to be a new monetary system. And therefore, these upgrades are going to be few and far between. They're going to be hard fought. And hopefully, over the next few years, we'll all be taking advantage of this tech. And maybe we won't even know it, right? All right. Isia, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. Isia, FJYZH52 asks, will Abra have a debit card? I wish I could answer that question, except to say I would love for Abra to have a credit card or debit card, and just stay tuned. Rat's Nest asks about SAND, SAND. Rat's Nest is WC66P4Y. Love the show. How about adding SAND? And when can Washington State use Borrow? I don't know when Washington State is coming online. We have a lending license pending there. SAND, I'm very bullish on. It's one of my metaverse picks, which I'll be talking about in the future. I would love to get SAND listed on Abra. Again, it's not up to us. We're always working with our partners, but we take the feedback. So thank you for that. RCFXDDDRM, that can't be that's too many characters. So I apologize if I got it wrong, but can you tell me about the relationship between Abra and the Digital Currency Group? Digital Currency Group is an investor in Abra. We have many, many investors, and DCG is one of them. DCG is the company that owns Grayscale, which is the Bitcoin ETF-like product where you can invest via stock markets. It's not my favorite product, but I like the fact that the product exists. And Barry Silbert owns the company, and he happens to be an investor in Abra and a good friend. So that's the relationship. And let's see, lots more questions. I'm going to try to get to a couple more here. Let's see. Will more interest earning coins be added to Abra Earn? EM asks VTC PTWL. EM, I hope so. We added Cardano. We're working on a couple of others right now. We have to test them first to make sure the interest product and staking, depending on how we earn the interest, works. And then we decide if we can bring them to you. But hopefully more will be coming soon. Again, I use Abra Earn. All of my liquid crypto is 100% in Abra Earn. And I love it. And so especially now, right, you're earning 14% effectively on dollars with the bonus interest in CPRX. You're earning 8% on Bitcoin and over 8% on Ethereum. It's just fantastic. Michelle says, I bought Mana at 81 cents. Woohoo, good for you. That is an awesome run. Take some profits. This stuff, especially these altcoins. My again, not investment advice, but my kind of generic, how I would work in this world is, if you're trading altcoins, take your profits. That's just my kind of unsolicited feedback. Peter, I'm using TradingView for the charts on the show. Day to day, I use the charts in the, sorry, you can't see it because in the Abra app. They're hard to display on the screen here. I'm going to try to figure out how to use the Abra charts going forward, but I use TradingView for more technical analysis that I can't do on a small phone. TradingView is just awesome. TradingView goes perfect with my Abra app. Let's see. We talked about Abra Borrow in California. And how many CPRX do we get from the Gleam tasks? Manuel, NDFE8RA, how many CPRX do we get from the Gleam tasks? Those were outlined on the Abra Perks site. So if you go to abra.com and scroll down, I believe it shows you on that page. I don't have the numbers memorized. Ray asks, any idea of what a CPRX token is worth individually? So Ray, upon launch, the market, when it's available for trading on Monday, and let me repeat that. So on Monday, outside the US, CPRX will be available for trading in the Abra app. In the US, it will be available a week from Monday. So that would be, I believe, the 22nd for non-US users and the 29th of November for US users. You'll be able to trade Abra. And then outside the US, you'll be able to do deposits and withdrawals of CPRX starting Monday. The market will decide what CPRX is worth. Now, we had to choose a price in order to do the initial airdrop. And we chose 15 cents as the initial par value of CPRX. We did that based upon some analysis of other tokens in the markets. We just made up the price based upon that analysis. And then that will change to use the market price at some point in the first few days following the launch of trading. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. But ultimately, the answer is the market will determine the price once trading is initiated. HJVC asks, any update on NFT support within Abra? I don't. I spend a lot of time thinking about, and my team spends a lot of time thinking about these things right now, but we don't have anything to announce yet. Tian asks, any reason why Abra is not available in New York? Yes, there's a very good reason. New York has a very unique regulatory model for crypto. It's called the BIT license. Very few companies have this BIT license. I think there's like 3 or 4 companies that have it, and everybody else is more or less shut out from New York. It's not my favorite regulatory model, as you can imagine. And it's very unfortunate because New Yorkers tend to suffer for this. There's a lot of altcoins that you simply can't buy as a New Yorker, period, full stop, anywhere, unless you go on like a DEX, which is way too complicated for most people. And so I don't know what to say, except I wish Abra was available in New York. I wish there was a way around it. It's something we are actively working on to figure it out, because we have a lot of pent up demand in the state of New York. But we don't have a good solution for trading in New York right now. If you're interested in Abra Earn and you're in New York, that's another story. We may have a solution for you. We look at that on a one-off basis. If you send an email to support and you're in New York and you want to use Abra Earn, let us know. For accredited investors, we might have a solution for some of you. Okay, hope that makes sense. CPRX will go parabolic. I am the market. Thanks, Chester. I don't really have a price prediction for CPRX. Right now, it's our utility rewards token. And I'm a holder just like you, and I have no intention of selling it. The thing I love most about holding my CPRX is going to be that staking the CPRX gets me higher rewards once we go, once we get past the initial 60-day promotional period, right? So because I'm a large user of Abra, I'll get enough CPRX where I'll be able to get the maximum interest rates. And therefore, I don't want to sell that CPRX because I really want those higher interest rates on Abra Earn, which is just awesome. Jeff D says, New York has a new crypto-friendly mayor. Yes, he does. And some of my friends have met with him already. Unfortunately, he doesn't make the rules for the state of New York. The banking regulators do that in concert with the lawmakers in Albany. And they're the ones who created this BIT license nonsense. And I hope that the legislature undoes it at some point. But it is what it is, okay? And we obviously follow the law very closely. We're going to always be very conservative when it comes to laws and Abra and protecting all of you, which is my primary goal. And as a large customer, our interests are definitely aligned there. Bill, my confidence level in you and the Abra team is off the charts. Thank you for Money Talks. Dave, that's a very kind comment, and I hope all of the Abra team is watching because they deserve that more than I do. HJVC says, is it okay for the SEC to offer high interest? I'm not sure that the SEC pays interest, so I'm not really sure I understand your question. Oh, I see. Is it okay if with the SEC if we offer interest? Well, we pay our interest through a bank trust called Prime Trust. Those of you who have Abra accounts know this, and because you've signed up for an Abra account, you've gone through that process. So I believe we're the only company in the space that actually offers a yield product through a bank trust. And we'll actually have more announcements on that topic next year, some stuff that we're working on, okay? EM asks, and I'm gonna stop here because it's 5 after already, so we're going way over today. Do we earn interest on CPRX? Not yet. This is something that I would love to do. we have to figure this out because we only got a grant of a certain size, and we have to figure out our ability to buy CPRX on the open markets and make sure we can still pay our rewards. So this is something we may come back to. Okay. Omni asks, do I have any comment on BlockFi being investigated by the SEC? No, I have no comment. I don't know the details of. I'm not even aware that that's true. And so if I find out any details and I have an opinion, I would gladly share it with you. But I have no opinion yet. Kim asks, what's the difference between Abra's coin and token and CPRX? So Kim, CPRX is Abra Rewards token. It's called Crypto Perks, and you can read all about it by going to abra.com, clicking on Abra Perks. You can read all the details about what I was just talking about. If you rewatch the show, you can scroll back and see some of the videos about how you can earn rewards paid out in CPRX Crypto Perks through the Abra Rewards program. And that's going to be our rewards token for many years to come, if not forever. I hope forever, unless we burn them all at some point. I don't know, to drive the value up. I'm not allowed to say that. But anyway, I don't know. I'm really bullish on Crypto Perks and the whole CPRX model. In the meantime, we're going to stop there. I'm exhausted. It's been a long week. The usage has been through the roof. Fantastic week. I'm so grateful. On behalf of the hardworking Abra team, we wish you all a fantastic weekend. Stay safe, and we will see you next week on Money Talks.